Welcome to Hong Kong Horror and Taiwanese Terror October Reviews. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Hong Kong Horror Review. And actually, as my intro indicated, this is Hong Kong Horror and Taiwanese Terror. I did leave the door open for a few Taiwanese films to sneak in. And actually, this was a co-production between both, and I believed it was filmed in Taiwan. As a matter of fact, there's a hospital that says Taipei on it. So it's like Taipei Central Hospital or something like that. So I guess it was. This is 1982's Devil Returns. Derivative of a few films in some parts, kind of original in its own wackiness in other parts, kind of trashy, kind of slashy, definitely kind of fun. 93 minutes. Just kind of a fun, wacky film, bloody, but not to an excess or anything like that. And as I said, it is a little bit derivative of a few things, including mostly The Exorcist and another film that kind of surprised me by the end of the film. But let's get started. You have a young couple who are about to be married, and this young lady is trying to get a taxi home. Well, the taxi is a very bad man. And we learn that because as her husband's driving around the beginning, of course, the radio is talking about some guy, maniac on the loose who's robbing and killing people and things. And they're playing the music to, guess, it's Gallipoli. Yeah, the music that they played at the climax of Gallipoli is playing in the beginning of this film. This is not the only film of that era that stole the Gallipoli music. There is a Jackie Chan film, I can't remember which one, from the 70s that did so as well. Great soundtrack, just doesn't really fit, but whatever. So yeah, she gets picked up by this cab driver who immediately locks the door, turns around, drives her to a construction site. She gets out, or he gets out and disappears, and she figures out how to open the door, and then she runs in the construction site, and it's a cat and mouse game for a while, but eventually he finds her and assaults her. Okay, she's taken to the hospital, and there's a detective there, of course. She comes home. Her doctor pretty much says physically she'll recover soon, but psychologically she's going to be a mess for a while. She becomes pregnant and they get married. Her new husband's boss is going away and basically says you can use our house while I'm away and you can work on some projects from home. But he does have to travel a little bit here and there to different construction sites. So there are times where she's home alone for a day or two. She has a nanny. And she also has a best friend who's kind of this wild, kind of, vivacious woman who's always arguing with her boyfriend. And essentially, some of them are there to be victims. So what happens is, as she's pregnant, she's like muttering to the baby. She's just not happy. At one point, she takes some steps to, I have to be careful here, to remove the baby, but it kind of fights back in a way, and somebody gets chucked out of a second-story window, and it's kind of a bloody mess. Her husband doesn't know that. At one point, there's a doll that's like under a bed, and the husband sees it there, and then when he's going downstairs to get his wife a glass of water, there's a doll. The same doll is now on the steps, and he falls down the steps and almost kills himself. So there's some things going on in the house before the baby's born. And then when the baby's born, the mom doesn't want to take that much care of it. The nanny's doing a lot of the work. And, kind of trying to prod the mom into being a little more hands-on. And some more strange things happen. And then towards the end, rather than just have it be like psychological, the actual figure comes back. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, they catch the guy in the beginning. They do a lineup. He was wearing this mask, a really kind of a dark mask, which is interesting because at the end, it turns it into a very much of a Halloween type situation, with her in the house and him trying to stalk her with a giant knife. But by making the mask dark, they don't have any scenes of him like just coming out of the darkness. And this is not the greatest copy. So there were some scenes that were a little bit hard to see, but it really did not impact the film that much, as that was kind of the atmosphere to begin with. So eventually he comes out of the shadows and you see him. I mean, maybe in a better version, you'd see him earlier. I don't know if it really made a difference, but yeah, so he comes back in a physical manner. with this giant knife, and a couple people get eliminated, and there's even a scene where she's in a closet and he's trying to get in, and she grabs not a coat hanger but a pair of knitting needles. And what do you think she does with it? Well, if you've seen Halloween, you know. It's pretty good. I mean, it's just kind of a mess. It's kind of fun. At the end, they have this little postscript, which they do not subtitle, so I don't know what they said, but it was kind of a fun one. Definitely some collateral damage on the way to anybody that these people were friends with or lived near, for sure. But I don't know what else to say about it. It was just a wacky one, but I really enjoyed it. This is my second time watching it. I will definitely watch this one again, maybe next year even. So, The Devil Returns, kind of a slashy, trashy, somewhat derivative, wacky film. What are your thoughts? Have you seen this? Have you heard of it? I'd be surprised if you had. Let me know in the comments below, and come back again for some more Hong Kong horror reviews.